It's me, Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, and it's time for the Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I've got four college football games for you and two NFL games that are going down this week. So get out your pens and paper. It's time to make some money. Before we get rolling along, let me tell you guys about NoHouseAdvantage.com. Okay, this is for all my fantasy players out there. Fantasy football, baseball, hockey, you name it. Head over to NoHouseAdvantage.com. They've designed a dynamic new platform for all of you fantasy players. And when you use our promo PandP, that's PANDP, they're going to match your first deposit up to $50. So don't miss out on this great fantasy player deal. Okay, so with me today, I've got two cappers. I've got some Ross Benjamin. I've got some Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room. I've got 6 free picks for our viewers, and we're going to start it off with Maryland at NC State with Mr. Ross Benjamin himself. How's it going, friend?
It's all good. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. How's everything in New York?
Well, it's about 70 miles from me. It's not too good, but yeah, it was a little frigid here during the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but we made it.
You made it. Well, it just made it easier for Santa to land on the roofs of all your houses. So there you have it. There you have it. Okay, so we're talking about Duke's Mayo Bowl. This one's going down on Friday. Now, before we get to the pick, I've got to tell everyone about a new promo we have just for our Power Hour viewers, all right? Text your full name and phone number to this phone number, 775-403-5400. You're going to get a 3-day expert pass for only $29, okay? You guys don't want to miss out on this deal, so get yourselves hooked up, okay? It's all about value at this time of the year, all about the value. So on Friday, December the 30th, we've got Maryland and NC State playing in the Duke Mayo Bowl. NC State's -1. We got a total of 46.5. Ross, how is this one going to go down?
I'm going to look at the total here, Ellie. Maryland's in rare territory here with a total in the 40s. As a matter of fact, they've had just 2 totals all season long that have been 49.5 or less, and both of those games went under the total. 37-0 versus Rutgers, which went under 48, 23-10 loss at Wisconsin, which went under 47. And despite averaging 29 points and over 400 yards per game, Maryland has played 7-4-1 to the under this year. This is an NC State team that's very good defensively. They have been all year long, Ellie. Number 21 in total defense, number 11 against the run, number 15 in scoring, allowing just a tad over 19 points per game. And their offense, meaning NC State, has not been the same since Devin Leary went down with an injury. He has since transferred to Kentucky. And since October 8th, when he went down, the NC State Wolfpack is averaging a tad over 20 points per game and just averaging 318 yards of total offense per contest. I like this one to play on the low end. I like NC State and Maryland, a couple former ACC foes, under the total of 46.5.
I was going to say that in the intro, ACC match. I'm like, no, it's not the same anymore. It doesn't work out that way anymore. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to roll under 46.5. Really nice breakdown there, Ross. People, don't forget, check out Ross Benjamin over at picksandparlays.net. There's a promo code for that too. NFL saves you 20% off of all of his premium plays. Everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. We're on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern with all your free football picks. Okay, so let's move it on. We're talking about the Holiday Bowl. This one's going to happen on Wednesday, the 28th. We've got Oregon Ducks -14 against the North Carolina Tar Heels. The total on this one, substantially higher. 75 is the total. Before we get to that, everyone, don't forget, text your full name and number to this number, 775-403-5400. Get a 3-day expert pass for only $29. You might want to look into Ross Benjamin as your expert. Just saying. All right, Ross, what do you got going on for this one?
Well, both of these teams struggled defensively despite having successful seasons. It was more so because of their explosive offenses and stellar quarterback play, more so than their defense, that's for sure. And to add insult to injury to these defenses, they've lost several key components on both teams on the defensive side of the ball, either through the transfer portal or opting out for the NFL draft. Speaking of those quarterbacks, we're looking at two guys that not only are going to play in this game, but also are going to be back next year. Drake May of North Carolina, what a season he's had. 4,115 yards passing, Ellie, good for 35 touchdowns and 7 picks. He also ran for 653 yards and 7 touchdowns. Boy, what a difference a change of scenery has made for Bo Nix. I know that you heard me before the season started. I was highly critical of his play prior to transferring to Oregon. He was, to me, very uninspiring at Auburn. However, he's really turned it around, whether it be the scheme, a change of scenery, the coaching, whatever the case may be. Bo Nix has had a fabulous year, throwing for close to 3,400 yards, 27 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. And get this, he's ran for 508 yards and 14 touchdowns. So he's accounted for 41 touchdowns this year and 3,900 yards of total offense. Neither team possesses a good pass rush, which is good news for both quarterbacks. As a matter of fact, there's only 131 teams playing FBS football right now, and Oregon's number 127 in sacks. They only sacked the quarterback 15 times all season. And North Carolina, not much better at number 125. It's 16 sacks. I'm thinking this on both teams in this contest. Despite North Carolina being without their star receiver, Josh Downs, I don't think that's going to matter. I think both teams are going to be in the 40s in this game, and I'm not going to let that high total scare me away. I'm going North Carolina and Oregon over 75. And, you know, when it's that big a number, even though I like the over, I'm going to tread lightly with that one as well.
Absolutely. I was kind of thinking both team totals to go over also, because one thing also about these teams, they're both really good on the road. Oregon's 4-1 away, UNC 6-0 away. So these teams play well on the road. It's not like their offense is going to be stifled because of that in any way. So yes, I love this. I love it going over 75. I like both of the team totals to go over, which you should be able to get. You said both score 40. You should be able to get them right around that number. So I'm all over this play with Ross Benjamin. And if you want more of Ross Benjamin's premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. Use our promo code NFL. Until then, let's all just like and subscribe. Let's be homies and feel that Christmas spirit. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications, right? We're on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, giving all the free picks we can muster. So, you know, it never hurts to give a little bit of that back to your old pickers, you know? All right, everyone. So we have some NFL to be talking about now. Thursday night game. We got the Cowboys minus 10. They're at the Titans. Titans just got beat up by my Houston Texans. What? Total on this one's 40.5. What do you got going? I know it's like the only time of the year I can be happy to be a Texans fan. Just right now. Okay, everyone.
I don't know about everybody else, Allison, but I'm your homie. So
all right, yes, let's be homies.
All right.
Before we get to that free pick, everyone text your full name and number to 775-403-5400. You're going to get hooked up with a 3-day expert pass for only $29. You guys don't want to miss out on that deal. All right, Ross, break it down for me. Cowboys, Titans, how's it going to happen?
You know, sometimes you look at the obvious and say, you know, I always say that sports betting, it's never that easy. If things look too good to be true, most times it is. In this particular instance, I'm going to go against that theory. I hate laying points on the road in the NFL. And especially so, I hate laying more than a touchdown on the road in the NFL. However, there is an exception to every rule, and this is a textbook example of such. This is a Tennessee team that's in absolute free fall. At one point, they were 7-3 and looked like an absolute lock to win the AFC South. However, over their last 5 games, they've lost them all. They went 0-4-1 against the spread in those 5 games. Their offense during this stretch has been terrible, averaging just a shade over 15 points and less than 300 yards per game. And it's not going to get any better with Ryan Tannehill, their starting quarterback, out of the lineup. In their last 3 games, Tennessee has committed 8 turnovers. And the flip side of that equation, Dallas, over their last 4 games, has forced 14 turnovers. So look for the Dallas defense to create some really short fields via turnovers, get and put plenty of pressure on rookie quarterback Malik Willis. And Dallas over the last 8 games, I mean, we know they got a explosive offense, but over the last 8 games, 37.5 points scored per contest, 432 yards of total offense per game over those last 8. And over the last 9 games, I mentioned they forced 14 turnovers over the last 4, but over the last 9, they're a plus 10 in the turnover differential department. And this is a Tennessee team that struggled this year when facing teams that currently have a winning record. So I think Dallas is going to keep up right with those averages offensively that I just alluded to over their last 8 games. And I think Tennessee is just going to continue to struggle here. It's probably going to be over early, and it's going to be ugly late. I'm going to take Dallas here late at 10 over Tennessee.
The thing that surprised me the most about this line was it opened Cowboys -3. Now it's a 10.5. Well, I'm seeing 10.5s out there. So, I mean, this was a huge, huge line move. I'm
well,
sure
if I
go ahead.
If I can interject, a lot of that had to do, that line came out 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
And that Ryan Tannehill was still healthy at that particular
that's
juncture.
what I was going to say. Largely, I'm sure this has to do with Tannehill not playing in the game. Cowboys, it was a close one against the Eagles. That was a fun game to watch. I don't lay 10 points. I can't possibly, but I could throw that into a teaser and knock it down to 6 and feel a lot better about my life. I could do that.
Well, I just, if I could, I want the viewers to understand these aren't games that we're actually picking ourselves. We're assigned these games.
Yes.
So we're trying to give you the best possibility to put you in a winner's circle. So
that's just I don't mind the 10 points. It's just, we all have our personal betting rules.
I
that's
hear you,
one of my personal betting rules.
Yeah.
But that would be the play. Let's go Cowboys -10 on Thursday night when they play the Titans. That's how we're going to roll with it. Everyone, don't forget, like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. We're on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for Ross Benjamin's premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net and use that promo code NFL to save you 20%. Ross, thank you so much for joining us on the Power Hour. I'll see you again next week.
Always a pleasure, Ellie. Thank you.
Cheers. Okay. So up next from the Insiders Room, I've got Nick Parsons rolling in. He's number 5 on the Picks and Parlays leaderboards for yesterday. We're going to talk some tax at Texas Bowl. How you doing, Nick Parsons?
Yeah, pretty good. And I've carefully looked at all 3 of these games. And just like Ross said, maybe not the exact ones we'd have on our card, but I think I've broken these ones down as best I can.
Well, we do appreciate it. All right. So before we get to the pick, let's not forget about our special promo. You text your full name and phone number to this number, 775-403-5400. You're going to get any expert on our site 3-day pass for only $29. This is huge value rolling into the bowl seasons. All right, Nick, let's talk some football. It's a Wednesday game, December the 28th, Texas Tech versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss -3.5, and the total is a 71. So how are we going to play it?
Well, a lot of these bowl games that we've watched so far have been not the best. I mean, for varying reasons, maybe the matchups haven't been the best, or a lot of the players on the teams have been sitting out because of transfers or injuries or other varying reasons. But this particular game sees almost both teams' entire lineups playing in it. And so because of that, even though this is a really high scoring or a really high total, I do like the over in this one. First off, these are 2 really good offenses. Ole Miss averages 34.2 points per game. Texas Tech is right behind, averaging 33.6. But the Rebels enter the Texas Bowl on a 3-game losing streak, and over their last 6 games, they've allowed an average of 33.8 points per game. The Red Raiders, they won their final 3 games in a row, but they also allowed 30 or more points in 7 straight games this season. And the other reason I really like this game to go over the number is because, neither the Red Raiders or the Rebels were hit with any significant draft-related departures, meaning that these offenses are going to be firing on all cylinders here. The Red Raiders, they actually have 12 seniors playing here as well, including 7 starters and 5 backups who all play regularly. They all declared decided to come back and take advantage of an extra season in 2023 due to the COVID-19. And so I really do think the stage is set for a complete shootout. Defenses will take a back seat. And so I'll suggest a play on the over in the Texas Bowl.
All right. I always like an over in those Southern games too. You know, those Southern teams just have a little bit nitty gritty. It's not about winning it. It's about shoving it right up your other end, you know.
Classic shootout. Yeah.
Yes. Classic shootout. Well put. Also, these teams trend towards an over. You know, Texas Tech is 8-4 to an over. And while Mississippi is only 6-6, they're also 3-2 on the road. So not a bad little road team here. I like it. We're going to go over the 71 in what we think is going to be a shootout when Texas Tech takes on Ole Miss on Wednesday. Everyone, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications so you never miss any of our free picks. We do them literally all day long. Our power hours on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss out on our free football picks. All right, up next, we've got the CFP semifinal Fiesta Bowl. All right. It's a
Big
mouthful, but it should be a game. Yeah, this should be a game. It's going down on Saturday, New Year's Eve. We've got TCU versus Michigan. Wolverines are -7.5. The total on this one is 58.5. How do we play it, Nick?
Well, this is one that I have a lot of notes on. Broke this one down completely. I mean, it's a really big game here. Michigan, 13-0, making its second straight CFP appearance under Jim Harbaugh. The Wolverines, I mean, they have an excellent combination of offense and defense. They average over 40 points per game. They're allowing under 14 points per game. They are the only team in the CFP ranked in the top 10 in both categories. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy, he emerged late in the season, and Donovan Edwards has emerged as a breakout star since Blake Corum suffered a season-ending knee injury. And then TCU, it's 12-1. It's making its first CFP appearance under first-year coach Sonny Dykes. Heisman Trophy runner-up Max Duggan, he leads a Horned Frogs offense that averages 40.3 points per game. TCU won 5 games against ranked teams in the regular season before falling short in the Big 12 championship game. It's the first Big 10, Big 12 matchup in college football playoff. The Wolverines opened, as 8.5-point favorites on some sports books, and the movement suggests value in the Horned Frogs.
Yep.
Now, 4 of TCU's last 5 games have hit the under. Michigan hit the over in the back-to-back victories against Ohio State and Purdue to end the regular season. But TCU was 2-0 straight up as an underdog this season with victories against Oklahoma and Texas. The Horned Frogs were also 5-1 straight up in games decided by 8 points or less, with the lone loss that came against Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game. Now, on the other side of the field, Harbaugh. I mean, this guy took so much flack for the first couple of years, but he's really flipped the script on his tenure over the last 2 seasons, especially against ranked teams. The Wolverines are 5-2 against straight up and 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 against ranked opponents. One thing to consider, if this becomes a shootout, then the Wolverines, they're not going to be that uncomfortable. Michigan is 6-1 against the spread this season when they score 35 points or more. Their victories against Penn State, Ohio State, and Purdue all hit the over. And you know what? TCU, it's going to be able to move this ball with Duggan against the Michigan defense. Ohio State and Purdue averaged 474 total yards in those 2 games. The fact that the Wolverines are 0-3 all-time in bowl games versus the Big 12 leads me to believe that Harbaugh will keep the foot on the gas here from start to finish. And so that's what I'm anticipating, a really wide-open game. These offenses will take center stage. And so I'm going over.
Over we go, the 58.5. Yeah, you're right. That line is moving towards TCU. It makes me a little bit nervous, but I do like the Fiesta Bowl is typically in Arizona. TCU's from Fort Worth, Texas. Obviously, we know where Michigan is. So, there's a little bit of a travel advantage maybe there as well. We're just going to roll with this over 58.5. That's the free play for you. And people, don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We're doing this every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss our free football picks. All right, we've got an NFL all ready to go. We're talking Sunday, New Year's Day. We've got the Saints at the Eagles. Eagles are a -7. Total on this one's 44. Don't forget about the promo, everyone. Text your full name and number to 775 403-5400. Pick your favorite handicapper over at picksandparlays.net and get his 3-day expert pass for only $29. I hear Nick Parsons might be a good one. You're pretty hot in football right now. So
Yes,
talk to
ma'am.
me. Saints, Eagles, -744. What do we got?
Well, the Eagles, they're now 13-2. If they had won last week in Dallas, they would have clinched the NFC East. But despite that, obviously, they're still in the proverbial driver's seat. They hold their own destiny in their hands because the Cowboys are 11-4. Despite the setback, I mean, the big silver lining for Philadelphia fans was the play of Gardner Minshew. He went, well, they wound up losing 40-34, but Minshew, he was 24-40 for 355 yards. He had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. He did have the 2 interceptions, but hey, that was his first time with that offense, and I would say that was an A-plus performance. Devontae Smith was the other offensive standout with 8 catches for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Saints, they're 6-9. Carolina and New Orleans are both 6-9. Or sorry, the Saints, yeah, they're 6-9 with only 2 games left in the season. So they're still in a dogfight here in the weak NFC South. Tampa Bay is 7-8. Carolina and New Orleans are both 6-9. It's going to be a war until the end in this division. Now, the Saints, they won 17-10 at Cleveland last week. Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, they each ran for a touchdown. Neither team was able to move the ball through the air very effectively. And for me, I think that could be the case again for the Saints this weekend in this difficult road venue. New Orleans is just 2-5 on the road this year. There's some uncertainty around the Eagles this week. But after that high-scoring loss last weekend, I really think that the Eagles are going to double down on the defensive end this week to catch a bit of a break facing the Saints offense. And so that's how I see this game being played out. Both teams really needing a win here, but I think that's going to translate into a defensive affair. So I'm going under.
Under we go. Yeah, and I kind of expected Minshew to have a good game. He was head quarterback at Wazoo under Mike Leach. This was kind of that moment for him to win one for the Gipper kind of a situation. So I expected him to have a good game despite the loss, but I agree that was kind of a flash in the pan situation. I like the under 44 in this one. We're not going to get too crazy with it here. So that's your free play from Nick Parsons and the Insiders Room. Everyone, don't forget, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We're on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and you can find the premium plays from the Insiders Room over at picksandparlays.net. Just use that promo code NFL to save you 20%. Good luck, everyone.